I want to say up the top that this is being recorded, and the recording as well as all the slides and the resources will be shared with you. Also, if you have any questions as we go along, please use the Q&A function at the top of the screen and enter your questions, and hopefully we are going to have sufficient time to answer questions towards the end. So again, thank you for joining us, whether you are a new user, don't necessarily know WindSim a lot yet, or you have used WindSim a lot. There is some new exciting functionality that we will be talking about today. So we are going to dive into WindSim Accelerator, specifically the new pre-processing modules. We will try to answer any questions that you have, and of course we will encourage you to get started, whether you already have Accelerator or not, or whether you would like perhaps to test it or see it live in actions. So you will hear from Ingvar, our CEO, in a moment, as well as Gullik, our head of development, and myself. I'm responsible for the commercial activities. And today's agenda, for those who are very new to WindSim, we will talk very briefly about the company, who we are and what we do. And then we dive into our cloud journey, why we're doing it and what the benefits are, and specifically then zooming in on pre-processing, why this is very important for the end result of the wind resource assessment, features and benefits of the new functionality. We will see a live demo before touching on what is planned for the next phases. Towards the end, I will talk a little bit about the commercial aspects, what resources are available for you for further reading, and as I mentioned, we will take some questions at the end. So with that, I hope you enjoy, and please don't forget to post any questions in the chat as we go along. And I am handing it over for a quick company introduction to Ingvar, our CEO.
Great. Thank you for the introduction, Lill, and thank you everyone for attending. I'm very excited today. First, we'll be talking about something that we have invested a lot in, and that we believe will bring advantages to you and make WindSim Accelerator an even more powerful tool for you as wind analysts. We're talking about accuracy and speed and ease of use. And I think what you will see today will be features, new functionality, capabilities that addresses those three elements. Specifically, you'll see how we're making high-quality data available to you, terrain data, land cover, and so on, in an on-demand, easy-to-use way. You'll also see how you'll be able to work faster. So basically do more in less time. We know that a lot of you are under high time pressure, often through a more integrated workflow. And you'll also see how our maps, like beginning from S3, also increases the ease of use. So a brief introduction to WindSim for those of you who are new to us. But our goal is basically to make wind energy more competitive as an industry and as a source of energy. And our contribution is that we will help you, provide you with the best possible information, data around wind flow models that allow you to take the best design decisions to make good wind farms. We're proud to be trusted by global leaders companies, small and large, that depend on WindSim to make good wind farms. We're around 15 employees, most of us in Norway, but we also have 2 colleagues in in China, and also 1 in India. The value that we try to bring to you is through our accurate wind flow models that, based on that information, you will be able to design parks that produces the most possible energy on a specific site by positioning the turbines at the optimal position. We will give you information that allows you to position turbines that avoid recirculations, turbulences, and so on, that increases your maintenance cost. And in general, through accurate models, you will have better visibility and higher certainty on your production estimates. So that concludes my introduction. Hope you enjoyed the session, and as Lill said, do engage through questions throughout.
Thank you, Ingvar. And we are cracking on then with our desktop journey and zooming in on the software. For clarity up front, I just want to say that the desktop version still exists, but we do believe in the cloud as the future. So that's why we are committing most of our new innovation and development in that area. But the big thing today that we will zoom in on is the launch of the pre-processing functionality, which consists of 2 new modules inside WindSim Accelerator, and that is the map model and the map module and the model module, which have been available to existing Accelerator users since the beginning of the month, so 2 weeks ago today. So why are we doing this? Just a quick reminder of the benefits, the issues that we have seen coming from a traditional on-premise desktop situation. They were stationary, 1 user per PC, etc. Sometimes requiring quite heavy investments in new hardware, HPC, to be able to accommodate for running the projects, the simulations, which could, in any case, be quite lengthy. You also have the issue with license management, that after a year, perhaps the license would run out and you would have to request a new one. And then also, of course, you had to download a new version to make sure that you had the latest functionality available. So a lot of hassle setting us back, basically. Whereas the cloud, as we know, it's accessible from everywhere, across devices, and people, across geographies and locations. So teamwork is easier, and no heavy investment is required. So the TCO, total cost of ownership, is much, much better. Also, with quote-unquote unlimited computational resources, the simulation time is certainly significantly reduced. So we can see that the projects, the simulations are being completed much, much faster. This computational power also enables much higher resolution and to be able to then run larger projects, which again facilitates a higher accuracy and not at the expense of exceedingly long simulation times. And of course, as a SaaS solution, a cloud-based solution, all changes, whether it's major releases or minor upgrades or bug fixes, it happens quickly and swiftly and no work for the customer at all. So these are the reasons we believe that the cloud is the future. We understand that there are maybe some challenges or questions about the cloud as well, but we will be going into those, and we're ready to answer any questions that you may have. The first phase, and we launched Accelerator back in April 2022, so it's a bit more than 2 years now. And this release is the 6th major one, and there's been several smaller ones as well. First phase was about wind fields. And now, as I said, we are expanding the coverage of the workflow so that we also cover pre-processing. And I just want to show that here for clarity so that hopefully you can understand what I mean. If you are on a desktop version, you would have to use WindSim Express, which is a cloud-based platform for data conversion. Prior to going into the main WindSim software to do the work through the 6 modules, as you see here. That option still exists, but from April 2022 and until September this year, we had introduced wind fields in the cloud, which was considered the most time-consuming option. It could take days, up to a week perhaps, for this to conclude. The workflow or the platforms involved here, still WindSim Express or similar. Terrain had to be done on the desktop version, upload to WindFields, and then download into desktop version again to do the post-processing. With this new version now, the WindSim Express platform is no longer needed. So the map module is substituting that, and map in addition provides you integrated access to data. So there's lots of benefits here. We'll come back to the detail in a moment, but I just want to emphasize the simplification here that, now we can stay within one platform for these first 3 modules. No need for WindSim Express here, no need for the desktop version just yet. So the first stages, the first steps of the workflow are now all in Accelerator. The second half of the workflow, you still need desktop software to do that. We will, of course, going forward, assess what functionality from the post-processing world we will also bring into the cloud. More about that later. Just a quick word about why pre-processing is actually important. Maybe we heard from people that, this is just preparation, this is not where the main work takes place. But make no mistake, the quality of the data, as Ingvar mentioned as well, is critical. If you don't get the right input, you will not get the right output either. So making a great foundation with high quality data is the best starting point to get the accuracy that you need. Also, standardization. So the fact that people will source and manipulate the data in different types of ways means that it's difficult to compare apple with apples. There might be data loss issues or errors on the way that might be even difficult to pinpoint due to different sources, different file formats, and conversion challenges. And we see this, of course, in tickets that we receive, that there are some issues here. So when you all have one source of data, high quality data, this can help standardize the methodology and the room for errors. We also know that this part, the pre-processing, has been time consuming and laborious. Now we looked at the WindSim workflow before, where you had to actually use 3 different platforms to be able to do it. So that's not necessarily easy. It takes time and it introduces potentially errors when it's complicated like this. So we do believe that, and we will share a little bit about the experience, about the time reduction. We believe that this new functionality is going to help significantly there. And one point that some of the beta testers brought up, actually, with this new easy-to-use interface and simplification, it's much easier to onboard new colleagues. So this is a much easier job. All in all, just to emphasize the point that a good start should not be underestimated. This is certainly a good precept for good results, which is what is wanted in the end, of course. So going into features and benefits, very quickly about the philosophy behind the WindSim Accelerator. So we have many customers using Accelerator, but mainly we keep financial investors, the developers, as well as consultants and operators in mind. These are key customers we want to have our eye on and listen to as we develop this. And that's why accuracy, speed, and ease of use are the design principles that we are leaning on. So also the desktop version had accuracy as its focus. This is being continued and improved also in the cloud. High speed is something that is introduced in the cloud, and we will see that also with these pre-processing modules, you can save a lot of time. And if it's even easy to use, that would help onboarding, productivity, time reduction, things like this. We believe that this is going to help you with your objectives, which is, selecting the right areas, placing the turbines in the right locations to ensure profitability and return on investment on your projects, increased incomes, AAP, while reducing OPEX and CAPEX, ultimately reducing the risk, higher bankability. So briefly then on the features, and I'm not talking only about pre-processing here, but we'll zoom in on that. So in Accelerator, you always have real-time display of your subscription information, what kind of plan you have, available credits, expiry dates, things like this. And you have the ability to invite as many users as you want. The map module is an area selector. You can select the area in several ways. We will see the demo in a moment. It's integrated with the ArcGIS platform that provides S3 data. So if you are familiar with that, you know the quality of this data. And then you can also adjust the roughness values. The beta testers reported up to 75% time savings from 4+ hours down to 30 minutes in some cases. So the efficiency here, in addition to ensuring high data quality, looks very good. The model module is the 3D generator, 3D model generator, with input options for numerical models, grid specifications, and you will also have some visualizations there. Wind fields was introduced before. I'm not going to talk a lot about that, but we know that you can save up to 90% compared to desktop or on-premise solution earlier. The benefit in general terms, optimal turbine placement, accuracy and reliability, we know. The cloud, to say, ability for higher granularity, which again is a precept for the good accuracy. We can increase with the granularity, we can increase the model size as we want. Perhaps very importantly that the beta testers were talking about in the evaluation was the time and productivity gains. They spoke about how easy it is to onboard new colleagues. It simplified, the steps in the workflow, but also the standardization in the workflow due to, one data source, one methodology that helps a lot. And of course, the ability to run parallel projects. No investments in extra hardware. It's very accessible and scalable. If you grow or if you have, for some reason, we need a little bit less capacity at some stage. There is resiliency and security. You have backup, of course, with strong security protocols, so your data is safe. It's also the software always up to date with regular releases, and with the subscription plans, the costs are predictable. So with that, I will stop for a moment and hand it over to Gullik, who will go more into the details about the map module.
Yes, hello. Yeah, I want to show you a bit of what we mean with the different models and the part of the pre-processing. And I'm also planning to give a small demo showing some of the features in current Accelerator, as well as talk a little bit about our future plans and what is on our roadmap. So our map module is based upon ArcGIS and is using the SRI dataset. And as Lill already mentioned, this means that you will use a common data source. All employees in the same company will have the same elevation and terrain data, and it will be treated exactly the same by two people. And for us, it simplifies things a bit. And we know how the data is created and the exact format of it for later processing. And yeah, and that makes it simpler for us to get predictable results. And then this will alleviate some of the need of WindSim Express, and it is also possible to use the map module to obtain the elevation and roughness data directly without using the next part of Accelerator. And we of course have the simplification and time savings, and it's much more fun to browse around in the map there than WindSim Express. So our data is provided by SRI through ArcGIS. Here you have the global elevation data set. That's in the first link, and it has different resolutions at different sites, but we trust the SRI data set to provide the most dependable and best quality data set at the selected site. And there is also the possibility to query or ask SRI to update the data set if there has come any, if there have appeared any new data sets for the area. For Europe, we have a special data set, the Corine 2018 for roughness and land cover. And for the global land cover, we are using the Sentinel 2 10-meter land cover. And both of those should be sufficient for our use. So our model, this is the Accelerator version of the terrain module in WindSim Desktop. this creates the 3D discretization based on the elevation and land cover. And it also has visualizations of the terrain that you can check that you can validate or confirm that map data obtained through the map module is as you expected. And this is the data that is directly used in the CFD simulation. So there have been quite a lot of confusion, or we have been talking a lot of resolution, maybe especially in our internal team. People have been wondering, is my Esra data set 2 meter resolution or 10 meter resolution, since there is 2 data set of this site? And then what is our map module doing with that, and what does that mean for our CFD simulation and so on? So I wanted to do a slight napkin calculation to clarify that. So here is some internal restrictions we currently have. The Esri API has a 4 by 4,000 data point restriction per request. We could conceivably combine several requests into one map, but currently we are only using one request. So that means that we are basing our map file and our grid file on that 4,000 by 4,000 data points. In addition, our WindSim core modules has a map restriction of 4,000 by 4,000 data points as well. And then we also have the other restriction that if you are going to run a CFD model, there are limits to how many cells we can run it with the current setup, and mostly the restricting thing is memory. So currently we have run projects on 50 million and 100 million, but it is starting to push the limits. So here it comes a practical example. Each project has its own GVS file, and that means the same Esra API query request. So that means that the map is exactly the area you want to run the CFD simulation on. Given that map, then you have 4,000 by 4,000 cell. And then a project has a typical vertical height of 30 cells. And that means, so we run no refinement area, and we use the maximum resolution that we get from our map module. Then we get a project with 480 million cells. And that is much more than we are able to run in our CFD calculation. So given that, and we do have some refinement as well. The refinement area is of a higher resolution than the outer area. But anyway, given that we have few projects above 50 millions, the resolution that we obtain through the map should be quite sufficient. So, and now I want to show you a small demo. Yeah. So just find that. So here you see our test version, our test server of WindSim Accelerator. We have added in some new part here. This will be removed a bit and so on, but here you see the links to the release notes. And if you want to make a new project, you go here, and new advanced project is the pre-processing version, and you will be able to name the project here. I have been cheating a little bit and prepared the projects beforehand, since after creating a project here, it will take a few minutes to set things up. So here you see our map module. It's quite responsive and scrollable. I like it quite a lot, and as you can see, you can search on it and so on. So let's set up a wind farm near Odense. And then we can use our coordinate, or either we can use coordinate to create to say where we want to base it on, or as I always do for demo purposes at least, we use markers. So here is probably a good idea for a wind farm on near Øresundsbroen. So, and these are points of interest. These say that these are the interest I want to build my CFD simulation around. And if you want to, we can right click on them to remove them. And we also have the addition to add points of interest through the add or bulk add. And that means that you put in a bunch of coordinates. So then we have this refinement area. You see this, this means that this orange box is 9,000 by 6,000 meters. And the outer refinement box here, this is the entire CFD model. And this is the area, and the refinement area, the things inside the, is it orange or red? I think it's orange. This is the interesting part, or this is where we get accurate results through our CFD simulations. So, and we have our roughness data. If you click on the Europe layer, here you see the Coran layer. Let's say, zoom in a bit. What's that green area? That's a broadleaf forest that has a roughness value of 1. You can scroll a bit around. Okay, this is discontinuous urban fabric. We also have the global data set available. This is the Sentinel-2 data set. You can do the same there. And we have the possibility to change the values for category. So, yes. And these are the things you can do in our map module currently. And then when you are done, you push on the extract terrain, and it will start to create your map. I'm going to take you to the next module. So here I've cheated a bit and already ran it. Here we are in the module, but before I want to show you that, I want to show you files. This is everything that is in a WindSim project folder is available here as well. In this model here, you should see here is the grid GVS file that was created through the map module, and the elevation tip and the land cover file is hidden here somewhere as well. This can also be used to, if you want to look closer and then more treat them in some other tools, or use them in WindSim desktop. So this grid GVS file can be used to create project in WindSim desktop if you wanted. So here we have our model. And yeah, here we have, here is evaluation. It's a bit improvement from what we have in the desktop version. It's a scrollable map where again it's very flat. But it is a scrollable map and you can zoom into things. We have roughness here and roughness log and logarithmic roughness values and inclination and all the things you know from the WindSim desktop. In addition, we have this, and this is the grid and the horizontal grid. You can zoom into it as well. It is, yeah, you need to zoom in quite a bit with this million cells resolution to properly see things. And we have the vertical distribution and the open area. And we can select, currently you can select height above terrain and maximum number of cells and the distribution. So after model, then you push create 3D model and you are taken to wind fields. So here we have our project. It's set with parallel GCV AMG. And we have, you can set some things with boundaries and initial condition, the physical modules. That is, currently it's only the turbulence model and some calculation parameters and so on. And while it's running, we have a log flow that shows which iteration it is on and the current values. And you can look at the spot values, that is the wind speed and the other feature or the other values at a certain spot you have decided in convergence monitoring. And you have residual values as well. Yes, and it's possible to download the project here, or you can use the files if you want to download some specific file out of it as well. Yes, I just misclicked here, so you'll. Yeah, so I hope it looked interesting to look at how Accelerator behaves and how you can use it.
Thank you. So that was interesting. Thank you, Gullik. We obviously have gone through a rigorous development process with this, and we also had beta testers work with us for a period of time. I just want to share with you what they were saying. There were 3 of them, and the first one was representing Norconsult from Kjell Vindteknikk. Eivind, who works there as a wind energy advisor, he spoke predominantly about the efficiency of the workflow, how this integration to ArcGIS with the access to the high quality data has helped reduce both the project execution time, but also the room for errors. So basically standardizing the workflow, increasing the quality, but also making it easier to onboard new employees. We had Statkraft with Ove being the principal wind resource analyst. He spoke about, you know, the complexity of many people working in different ways, using different platforms, third-party programs, or data sources. That needs time to gather it and then to prepare it or transform it. And this is all taking a lot of time, in addition to the errors that could occur. But he gave the example that for an experienced user, it could be done as quickly, the whole thing, as quickly as in 30 minutes, coming down from somewhere between 4 and 5 hours. So clearly saving a lot of time. And the last one was Utko, senior resource analyst from Fortum. They focused also on time reduction in the pre-processing phase of things, as well as being able to run multiple projects in parallel, thanks to the integration of the GIS platform for the data, for instance. So the feedback from the beta tester was super important for us. We were obviously happy with that. They did point out a number of further improvement areas, as well as a long wish list. Some of this Gullik will touch on a little bit later, but of course the customer feedback here is super important for us in terms of determining the scope of the releases to come.
Yes, now I will talk a little bit about what is our next plans for Accelerator. Where will we go forward? So here is very condensed version of what we currently are working on. On Accelerator, on our to-do list, we have setting horizontal solution and description of underlying the map data set. Under progress, we have forest visualization, and under testing, we have forest included in Accelerator, and that's only on the development server now, so I couldn't show it to you, but it is undergoing testing. And things that are ready for release, we are just waiting a bit on organizing it. It is the addition of atmospheric stability added in the wind fields module, and the small thing I showed you earlier about the release notes directly in Accelerator. Of course, one of the perks of being on the cloud compared to a desktop version is that we can do small releases with just the atmospheric stability and some other small improvements. Earlier, when we had desktop version, you had to bundle things to a much larger degree. So I expect us to release the atmospheric stability release in the coming weeks. Yes, so here is a short, brief summary of our roadmap. During of our major development, we have pre-processing that we are done with the main part of now. We will add some additional things to it. And after that, we are thinking of export. This means being able to export flow-res formats, VRG files directly in Accelerator without visiting the desktop. And we need to do something about the custom map data. A lot of our customers want to be able to upload their own specialized data that can be through different format, and we have it in the planning phase, but we'll need to devise a solution to integrate that in Accelerator. So we also have the WindPro integration, and that means making a cloud version and Accelerator version where you can start a WindPro project without starting in the desktop and exporting without starting in the desktop. And we have our meso micro scale coupling algorithms, a screening solution that we will use that to be able to run screening projects. Yeah, and we have other smaller releases that will happen from time to time, like the adding atmospheric stability. So yeah, here is here is two of the different solution or sketches of solution that we can do to get the maps up and working, either putting everything through our map module or putting things directly into the model, but it still work under consideration and design. So now I will hand it over to Lill.
Thank you. We're getting closer to the end here, so I will just wrap it up with some practical information here. Getting started with the pre-processing or accelerator in general. Now, when it comes to pre-processing, if you already had accelerator, you would have seen a subsequent to the 4th of September that this was available in inside the accelerator portal. So I hope everybody has started using it. We can see on our end that there's quite some activity there. So looking forward to hearing the feedback. Importantly, and this is a question I assume that people would have, this pre-processing functionality, these two modules, map and model, will not incur any extra credits. Right, so it's, as you know, perhaps if you've been using Accelerator before, for a project, you will spend a certain amount of credits. That happens in the wind field modules, and there's no change to that. That remains exactly what it is. And there's no additional credits consumption related to these two. But of course, we hope that you become happier with the platform and use it even more than before. We have special offers here for new customers for deals signed during the remainder of 2024. We have a starter plan available. We have alternatively a plan that allows you to buy 3 years but pay for 2. And there is training, free training, basic and/or advanced in the public sessions in October. And you can see the dates here that would be in question. Now, if you want to customize training, that's something else that we would have to talk about. But if you would sign an accelerator deal during the end of the year, at least in the public sessions in October, you would be free to attend. Of course, I'll leave you at the end here with the get in touch details if any of this is of interest to you. Just a quick overview of the different plan options. We have several different plans. So if you look at the Light Plus Premium, etc., this indicates the volumes of the credits. You can also determine the time commitment, whether you want a monthly, yearly, or 3-yearly plan. So there are 2 dimensions, time and volume here. You will get discounts additionally for, so the credit price is lower for the bigger volume, and also there is discount for more time commitment, as you can see. So wrapping it up, in a nutshell, we expand the use of the cloud here for pre-processing, creating a more comprehensive workflow in the cloud with access to S3 data through integration with the ArcGIS, terrain and land cover. And we hope that it helps you create a more solid foundation in creating the good results. Simplification is clearly a big thing here, removing a couple of switches between platforms. So that should make it easier, remove room for error, easier to learn, easier to use, bring new people on board, but also a standardization in methodology. And finally, time savings, as we mentioned, reporting up to 75% time so that you can spend your time on other things, maybe less repetitive, value-adding analysis, parametric studies, things like this that can help you deliver an even stronger project. So finally, just a word here. If you don't have the opportunity or capacity to actually buy WindSim Accelerator at the moment, we also have a consulting team, services team. They can support with extra capacity or specialized expertise if needed, and are mainly being used for things like second opinions, for risk management, for extra complex projects, or meso micro type of activities. And you can see a list of the typical projects here at the end: remote sensing correction, extreme wind assessment, energy yield assessment, meso micro coupling, and various types of training. So if that's interest, you can also get in touch with us about that. So here's a list. You will see in the PowerPoint that I will send that there are links in here. So there's a link to how to get started with the pre-processing and all the different modules, support resources, as well as further documentation on the data sources that Gulik was talking about. There are a number of small videos which are almost like tutorials on YouTube. So please follow our YouTube channel because there's quite a lot of content there. And you will also there find a video from the beta tester Ove in Statkraft that he shared the results of his report from the beta test back from the user meeting back in June. So I think that's really interesting because he talks about findings in cross prediction errors, etc. So that gives you a clear indication. Then we have reached the end here. I don't know, Vincent, you've been the master of ceremony in the background here. Do we have any unanswered questions? I know that you've been working the chat box in the meantime. Anything to pick up, Vincent?
Yes, so we have some questions that I did not answer during the webinar, so I can start with Sergio. He's asking, is there a defined deadline when desktop version will stop working?
No, we have not set or we have not set the depreciation time for the desktop, and we do not have any plans to decommission it in the near future.
Thank you.
But what we are planning to do is build more and more of the functionality into Accelerator, so it is not needed anymore.
So to add to that, and I understand the question, and I think it's fair to say that it will happen at some point. But if and when it happens, it will happen with a long lead time, so there will be no surprises here. And it will only be when we have an alternative available that we feel is strong enough. So nothing is going to happen in the short term or tomorrow, so no worries.
Thank you. And then next question is from Maria, and she's asking if it will still be possible to upload a project from our own computer.
Yes, it is still possible to upload a project from your own computer. That was the upload project button that you could have seen in my demo. In addition, that's one of the proposed way to currently use the pre-processing modules. Currently, you can use the map to create your grid.gds file. Download that file, create your project in the desktop if you want to use some of the functionality there that is not available in Accelerator, and then upload that onto Accelerator again. That's a possible workflow that we will maintain.
Thank you, Gulik. And the last question is if the training is going to be online.
Yes, the training is online.
Okay, thank you. So then I think we have answered all the questions. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Vincent. Thank you, everybody, for the questions. As you see here, there are a number of ways to engage with us. We'll be in Hamburg next week, so if anybody is there, please join the Norwegian pavilion and we can have a chat. Or there are a number of other things, other ways, channels to connect with us. And I will share with you the recording and the slides here very shortly. So thank you for attending. We hope it was useful and we hope to speak to you soon. Bye-bye.